So, funny thing about this episode is, so 2 episodes ago, we had a Ruby and Sapphire episode, and one of my thoughts about that episode, in retrospect, is that, considering how it's gone with Ruby and Sapphire, that episode was a little less gay than I would have expected. And then, but after this episode, I'm like, so this is where all the gayness went.
I saved it all up just for this episode. All I knew about this episode before I saw it was people saying that Pearl got gayer than she's ever been before, and I thought, surely that's not even possible.
That can't be possible.
I was so naive.
Yeah. So this one is last one out of Beach City. In this episode, Amethyst is about to head out to see Greg about going to a rock show, but he comes in and explains that he forgot that he is playing cards with Barb and Vidalia tonight, so he can't. But instead of going by herself, Steven and Pearl decide to join Amethyst. Pearl tries to prove that she can be some sort of cool rule breaker by wearing different clothes and actually drinking.
Drinking juice, but...
Yes. She's stunned, though, when she sees this woman who dyed her hair pink, looking suspiciously like someone else's hair, maybe. She fails to talk to her, but decides to move on, and they end up driving to the show. But then they meet her on the road, as it were, and she's only able to make a quick glance at her before she rides off again. But in order to chase after her, she actually runs a red light, basically, and ends up getting chased by the cops. And so they have this sort of chase. She eventually evades the cops, only to run out of gas, and they have to walk to the show. When they finally get there, Pearl sees her again and ends up talking to her about her hair color and also about saving the world in the past. And somehow ends up with her number. And that's the episode.
This is like the 80s lesbian movie that we never got.
Kind of. This episode was great. This episode was awesome.
I enjoyed this. I want to say, just straight up, a lot of people, there's been a lot of discussion about how the girl Pearl fancies looks, and about, is it reversing Pearl's, moving on thing that she's hitting on a woman who looks just like Rose. Honestly, I think aside from the pink hair and being really tall, I don't think she actually looks like Rose, much at all.
No.
And she did, so, I don't think that's what it is. I think this episode is a great example of Pearl committing to the idea of moving on. Because you can see, especially in the early part of the episode, where she's, decided to do all this stuff like dress differently, and she's trying to go out and try new things and meet people and move on, which is great.
Yeah. My thought on that is that it's a slow process. So, yeah. Also, let's be honest, considering how long she was into Rose, I think pink hair is just something she's into in general at this point.
Yeah, she has a type, that's fine. That doesn't mean she's unable to move on.
Yeah.
Yeah. And also, she goes on about, she's a rule breaker now, she's a rebel, and then she mentions that she's been a rebel and a rule breaker for thousands of years, which is true. She is remember, she is a terrifying renegade Pearl.
Exactly. I mean, that is true.
Just adapting to the Earth definition a little of terrifying renegade.
Yeah. I have lots and lots to say about this episode, trying to go through all the things. First of all, something I find interesting about this episode, maybe only to me, but, it's 2016, so what's a rock band? It's 2016, so I don't think that it actually exists anymore.
There's no pure rock band. It's always like metal rock or grunge rock or indie rock or pop rock, or it's like that bit in Avatar: The Last Airbender when they find out the Emperor's just got a bear. Not a duck bear or platypus bear or anything, just a bear. And they're confused.
Yeah, but even then I'd argue, because it seems more and more that in order to be successful in the rock genre in general, you have to be as far away from traditional rock music as possible. Music's weird nowadays. It feels like every genre is every other genre at the same time now.
It's all one, man.
Yeah.
It's all one. I didn't even listen to the music that was playing in the background in the last scene. I was too caught up in Pearl and the mystery girl being gay at each other.
But even though Pearl says that, she is still hilarious as this sort of attempt be a lawbreaker. It's cool because the colors, it's supposed to go that way.
I love her, 50s motorbike lesbian outfit.
Yes.
And driving without a license. Because can you imagine Pearl trying to talk to the DMV? So, date of birth? Well, over 5,000 years ago. She's not a citizen. She's an illegal alien. Very literally.
Literally. We need to build a wall in space.
And make Homeworld pay for it.
Make Planet Earth great again.
Where Pearl runs a red light to get some, and Amethyst's like, yeah, what's the plan? She's like, new Pearl, no plan.
It's amazing.
Also, by this point, Steven is the youngest person in that car by several thousand years, and he's trying to be the responsible one.
Yes, that is true. Yeah. I love the Pearl's terrible attempts to try to get the apple juice opened. Just in the background, she just can't.
No.
Pearl's one weakness, apple juice.
I mean, unless it's apple juice as in it's incredibly strong cider, but we're not saying that in front of the children. But probably not, given the show is too innocent.
Yeah, though Pearl literally just said that she's going to go drinking tonight. It's just that in this case, it's entirely literal because she doesn't drink anything usually.
Yeah, that is true. They don't have to eat or drink anything, they just do, because it's fun. And then, when she finally drinks something, the hot girl walks in and she does an actual spit take. It's great.
Yes, and she just drops the drink.
My note at this point is just, did Pearl actually get gayer this episode? And she did.
It's amazing.
I mean, to be fair, by the time Mystery Girl turned up on a motorbike, I had a pretty strong crush on her.
Who wouldn't?
Who wouldn't, I know. But oh god, I had so much sympathy pain for Pearl when she completely fails at her first attempt to talk to Mystery Girl.
The cops just go flying.
Yeah, oh, she's trying so hard. And then she gets chased by the cops when she runs a red light like the terrifying renegade she is. And at this point I'm just like, oh, she's trying so hard to move on and do new things and it's going badly. And it's just, oh.
I loved when they got in the car. When Steven's like, okay, you know, she couldn't look like Mom. You saw it, I saw it, we all saw it.
Yeah, he does lampshade it, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I maintain that aside from the hair and the height, she really doesn't, but, you know, he has a point that it's probably what caught Pearl's eye.
I also find it interesting that no one ever talks about Pearl's feelings for Rose, so it's interesting that Amethyst, once she realizes that, she immediately realizes why she was acting that way.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I like the distant conversation we get to see the party, where at this point Pearl is just being her, but, you can tell, even before she comes back and tells Steven and Amethyst that she got Mystery Girl's number, you can tell it's going well just because they've drawn the body language really well. Just like the way Mystery Girl turns to, full face Pearl, and is, the way she's playing with her hair and looking directly at her and laughing is, just some really well-drawn body language to show that it's going really, really well, even before Pearl gets her number.
Are you saying that Steven Universe has a good understanding of relationships?
God, where would I get that idea? It's ridiculous.
I don't know. It's only episode 100-something.
I'm so hoping we see more of Pearl's new girlfriend in the future. I want to see much of her.
But they do kind of imply that in the best ending ever.
Yeah. Pearl got her number. Pearl got game.
Yes. No, I mean right after that, when it does the sort of 90s end credits thing.
Oh my god, yes! I love that. And introducing Mystery Girl. It was
as herself.
The whole thing was so good. Oh, that was such a great homage.
Pearl as repressed nerd.
Yeah, oh. I think that was more 80s than 90s, but yeah, it was such a great homage to, like, every movie ever made in the 80s, basically.
Yeah. Amethyst as Ultimate Wingman and Steven as Voice of Reason.
Oh, he tried, poor baby, he tried. I love his pep talk to Pearl as well. When he's talking about when they're driving the car, he says, "That's the most scared I've been since you almost let me die. You're a criminal now." And he says it so cheerfully with the huge smile on his face.
Yes.
Oh.
My thought is, which time are you talking about, Steven? I'm pretty sure there were multiple times where that actually happened.
Like, I think he's probably referring to that first episode where it was, like, pretty unambiguously laid down that Pearl was super gay for Rose.
Yeah.
But, you know, yeah, there's options.
There's also the time they almost exploded in space.
Oh, yeah, fun times. Fun times.
Yeah.
I just, in general, I mean, Amethyst and Steven are really cute as I did, especially Amethyst just bouncy balling because... I mean, to be fair, if you could turn into a bouncy ball, you'd do that, wouldn't you?
Yes.
But, you know, they're cute, but they're in the background to this great wee story about Pearl committing to what she decided she was going to do and move on with her life. And it goes well for her in the end, and she got a hot girl's number, and it's all very gay and wonderful.
It certainly is.
I also had to laugh again about Amethyst ribbing Greg for being an old man when she's probably at least a couple thousand years older than him.
Yeah, that is true. What was that weird thing with Greg was terrified of Barb for some reason?
That bit where it's like, you don't know, man. You don't know. He looks like he's seen some shit. Like last time he skipped cards.
I also loved Amethyst's line when Pearl was going to talk to the mystery girl. Amethyst is like, "You could start smaller. Talk to a nerd."
Oh.
Truest statement ever.
Oh, I feel happy about this episode. We had a bunch of episodes in a row that were like ended in very sad, or if not necessarily sad, very just like thoughtful places.
Yes.
You know. And then this one is just happiness, all round happiness.
This is just a goofy story where like Pearl gets a girl's number.
Yeah.
I do hope she comes back, because that would be pretty fun and interesting.
Like, not even just, like, I don't expect them to make a regular cast member or anything, but, you know, I want someone to get Pearl a phone and we regularly see her calling or texting our mystery girl.
Yes.
And probably them just dangling her mysterious name over us for, like, 3 seasons.
Yeah.
I think it's suggested that her name begins with S, but other than that, we got nothing.
Oh yeah, the Ocean Town sign, no longer on fire.
I mean, that's a good thing. Like, when your town no longer being on fire. I mean, it's discouraging to hear that it was on fire, but it's not now. So that's nice.
Yes.
How far did they drive on that road trip? How far did Pearl drive to chase a hot girl?
How far do you drive for a rock show in someone's garage? That was the weirdest thing about that, because I didn't think they were going to go to like a stadium full of people, but it's a rock show and there couldn't have been more than like 15 people there.
I think the way Amethyst described it at the beginning of the episode was that it was basically in someone's backyard and it was just hanging out and watching music. So. Yeah.
But they're famous enough that people actually knew the lyrics. Like, did you see that one thing where that one guy was actually singing along to the lyrics?
That guy could also just been like a buddy of the band.
True.
Oh, God, the best bit I completely forgot is when Steven's handing out drinks and, Pearl is struggling with her apple juice and Amethyst just eats the fucking can.
Yes.
Whole.
No, I think the best part is that she actually opens it and then she eats the can. What was the point?
With just every sign of enjoyment. I am slightly concerned that because we've had just a genuinely top to bottom happy episode, the next one's going to be terrible again. Not terrible quality wise, just like Jasper's gonna come back again or something.
Yeah, like maybe, who knows? Oh yeah, main thing I didn't want, completely forgot. One of the reasons I really like this episode is because of, not trying to put it, sort of the style of it. It has a more, like, it's really hard to put exactly how. Basically, have you ever seen, like, any sort of story or anything that has this sort of, weird mix of, like, punk and nerd?
I think that might have been what made me think of the 80s, honestly.
Well, kind of, but, there are certain things, like, basically anything that has that sort of feel to it, like, my immediate thought goes to, like, Scott Pilgrim vs. the World or something like that.
Yeah.
Like, just that element of coolness and not coolness, I guess. But something about that I really, really love. And I feel they pulled that off pretty well here, all things considered.
Yeah. They balance it really, really well here.
Though I will say the only problem is that because they did that really well, and because this is a world filled with magic and fighting and whatnot, that chase was kind of underwhelming by comparison.
Yeah, it's just because the chase scene didn't last very long.
Yeah, that too. But it's just sort of like, they ran from the cops a bit, then they lost them. The end. Okay.
I mean, in a full-length movie, like, chasing the girl on the motorbike would have been like a full-on music video scene before like 10 minutes of intense cop baiting, but because it is just like an 11-minute cartoon, they didn't have time for that. And nobody had
pretty
time
much. Also, the artist that did all the music for this episode is like an actual real like artist and stuff. It's like this is his actual music, wasn't just made for the show.
Cool.
So yeah,
I feel like we should know who that is, so we can, like, you know, he's put his music in there to advertise, and we'll just like the artist. Yes, we totally noticed who he is.
I did write it down. His name is Mike Kroll.
Cool.
Yeah, it fit exactly as well as it should. It was a very new age, lighter punk rock sort of thing.
Apparently, according to Wikipedia, his genre is literally called garage rock.
Yeah, that too.
Garage rock and power pop. It just has it listed, guest starring Mike Kroll as himself.
That is true. They drew the character who played in who sang, who actually be this person. So that's cool.
Awesome. Also, just when I'm on Wikipedia, it seems that the next episode's an Onion episode.
Oh, joy.
This should be interesting.
I think it's called Onion Gain.
Yep.
Which is a terrifying idea.
The pre-episode synopsis just says, Onion brings Steven into the woods to introduce him to his friends and have a fun day. Because it's about Onion, every part of that sentence is so sinister.
Yes. I imagine his friends are like real gangsters or something.
Does he have a gang of woodland creatures, like some kind of evil Disney princess?
Maybe. Beast City was taken down in one day by the Onion Gang.
Which I think the fact that we're talking about the next episode that we haven't yet seen probably says we've said all there is to say about this episode.
Probably.
It's super gay and I love it.